Why do we have to manage the services? So that we know that they're being used efficiently. So we know that they're being used in a cost-effective manner. Otherwise, just having them doesn't do us any good. So we want to have the services up there in that proactive stance. We want to have it in preventive as best we can. We want to make sure everything is both patched and configured properly, and that we're actually reviewing everything to make sure it's the way that we said it was going to be. Boundary controls. We want these anytime there's two different areas of trust meeting, and might include all these different devices. And you need to continually review all of your access. You need to review everybody's access to these areas and to these devices on a regular basis to make sure permissions have not changed or roles have not changed. What's a SEM solution? What's SEM? What does security event management do for you? Anyone familiar with these? Anyone used one? Usually it collects like all of the data from your IDSs into one central place so that you can analyze it better. It's a command console. It makes it a little bit easier to administer these things. Log management systems, same thing. You're aggregating the logs so you can look at them. What's the danger of that? What's the danger of having a tool that makes this job easier?
Targets.
Yeah, anyone who has access to it can muddle the waters right there. Right? Good. We talked about intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems. Signature matching. Again, review. What does signature matching do? Brent?
It's for the known
malware, right? Yeah. Good. Protocol or protocol anomaly-based systems looks for
protocols that are being used that shouldn't be.
Good. Traffic going to the wrong ports, right? Good. Statistical anomaly-based. Looking for
spikes in traffic, things like that.
Good. Or decrease in traffic. Yeah, good. Exactly. And you have to keep tuning them. What's a false positive? Boy who cried wolf, right? We got to make sure that it's not constantly alarming. If it's constantly alarming, it doesn't do us any good. Vulnerability management. Configuration management. We've talked about this at some length. Have to know the state of your systems to make sure that you know you've minimized the vulnerabilities, that it is tuned to the state that is in accordance with your acceptable risk level. Continue scanning for vulnerabilities. You want to make sure that if there is any variation from the desired state, that you're being able to detect that. Antivirus, put it on different places. You might want it on user hosts. You might want it on those critical systems. They need constant updating. Those signatures have to be continually added to as new malware goes into the wild. You have to watch them, otherwise they're not really going to do much, even if you're just watching for the flags. Automatic scanning of media. Does anybody do this in their organization? As soon as a flash stick goes in, first thing that happens is it's scanned. Might not be a bad idea. We used to do that with disks. I haven't seen a floppy disk for years, though. Anyone still use magnetic stuff? And why do you want to do the scan during non-peak hours? Doesn't that make less sense? Shouldn't all the attacks be happening during peak? Shouldn't that we be worried about it?
More resource intensive.
Yeah, it degrades your capability to process. Incident management. Information should only be kept as long as it is required. What are the requirements? What would require you to keep data? Law, sometimes, depending on your environment. Your contract might require you to keep data. We have some customers that say you will keep hard copy for 1 year, you will keep electronic copies for at least 5 years after the final deliverable of the contract. Why do they require that? Takes the onus off them. They don't have to pay for storage. General rule, 3 times as long as backup to recover. Okay. Anyone done a recovery from backups? Was 300% about as long as it took?
I don't know if we really timed it. Worried about other things at the time.
It wasn't an exercise, it was the real deal? This is a decent general rule, but in most instances I've seen it takes a bit longer, especially depending where the offsite is, if you're going with offsite storage. And you've got to practice it. It doesn't do you any good to have the most beautiful plan in the world if you don't know if it works. Of course, there's going to be hardware, software, and wetware involved. You have to prioritize those things you're going to be able to bring back online, those things you need to protect the most. Again, it's another form of triage. Got to practice it. You're going to use all the resources of the organization, and management's still in charge. Problem management is defined as fixing the root cause, different than incident management. You're not playing whack-a-mole. You're going through to reconfigure and to fix what it was. In most incident management, problem management should be the end target anyway. Change management. You want it formalized. You want it written down. You want a discrete process for doing these things. Why? What happens if you have an ad hoc process in your environment? Doesn't that make it easier for everybody?
You can actually have false alerts, or because somebody doesn't realize that somebody else patched something, and then they're panicking because something changed on the system. And
good. You're going to detect somebody else's change as an aggressive move, as an attacking move. Good. Things are going to change without you knowing it. If it's not documented, someone's going to say, I told Andy last week that I was doing that change. Andy didn't remember. Andy was drunk at the time. It's not his fault, right? Good.
Well, at least you said it wasn't my fault.
Oh, yeah, of course it's not. Of course it's not. They told you at 11:30 on a Friday night that they were going to change the server configuration. That's not a well-defined process. That's a bad process. We want to be able to make sure that we can track all these things, that we know what the state is going to be before it happens, that after it happens we know how it occurred and what it was and what we had in mind when we did it. Everybody should be playing a part of it. Requests should have to go through a change management board. Who sits on that board?
Quality.
So,
Quality.
Quality. Good. Who else?
Representatives from, all the stakeholders.
Yeah, everybody involved. IT is going to be on there. Security is going to be on there. Management's going to be on there. Yeah. You want to check out that impact. Make sure that it's not going to deleteriously affect your business operations in a significant way, just to get some little increase in operations. Every request has to have an approval or a disapproval attached to it. Why? Why can't we just say, we're going to table that indefinitely? We'll get around to thinking about that. Why do you need to be able to issue a disapproval for everything?
so if it comes up again, you know why you
Excellent.
did it the last time.
That's exactly it. You're going to document what the process said. Well, why didn't we do this before? Oh, we tried and we decided that it was not cost effective. Good. Excellent. Saves you time, saves you effort in the long run. You're going to put it in the sandbox before you put it into production. You're going to tell the users. Why do you tell the users? What are they going to do? They're just going to be annoying, right? Why do you tell the users?
So they don't call the help desk and say, hey, what changed?
How come I don't have Mozilla anymore, right? Why do I just have IE now? Good. It's part of that transparency thing where we want them to see everything that we're doing. Implementing it, the change management board should be involved in tracking as it goes into production as well. And knowing what happened afterwards. And again, document. Write it down or it didn't happen. Configuration management, similar to change management, can often be used in the same process. It's how you're going to actually set your assets. It's how you're going to configure them, obviously. You want to catalog everything. You want to have all of that documented in your library. It helps to know what you own. What's the easiest way that we've been doing it nowadays? What's the cute cat for?
Barcodes.
Barcodes, yeah. Barcoding them. What are we moving to? What are most asset management inventories moving to?
RFID.
RFID, because that way you can just walk through the office, right, and be able to identify it that way. Good. And make help desk do it. Make help desk do it. While they're responding to a request, they should be able to update that library. Patch management. You have to be able to have a process for this. Why don't we just slap on patches as they are put into the field?
Most of them require a restart.
Yeah. Do you want to do that in the middle of the day?
No.
No, you don't. No, you don't. That would not be transparent to the users, right? You want to be able to, oh, this is important. I like this one. If the vendor doesn't tell you why they're patching something, you, as the security professional, should be able to go and get that information. Why? Why?
Know what's changing.
Yeah. Know how that's going to impact you. You also want to know what was at risk before that patch occurred. What is it that the vendor's not telling me that they actually exposed, right? Good. And you're going to always want to be able to revert to last known good in case that patch does do something that you didn't expect it to. Is that always the vendor's fault for putting out a patch that ruins your system? No. Why?
Because the vendor doesn't operate in your environment.
Yeah, there might be something, some other application or something that just conflicts really poorly with this latest patch that they couldn't possibly have tested. They can't test everything out there, right? And again, document. Audits and reviews. Why do you want an independent third party? Why don't you want the IT department to review their work?
We're great.
You want somebody else outside, somebody objective, to step in there. You don't want the fox watching the hen house. Is pen testing a form of security review? Obviously it is. It's also a lot of fun. You get to pretend to be the attacker. That's great. Internal review versus external review, meaning do you allow the auditors access to the systems already to come and do their audit, or do you make them try to audit it from an external? Usually if it's an auditor, they're internal, or if it's a tester, they're external. And you want to be able to tell management what the results were so that they can make informed decisions about what's going on. It's, maybe as effective as giving the information to the pointy-haired boss sometimes, but it's still what you should do with your reviews. All right.